Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rainbow Six Siege. Been a minute since I've been casting. I had a good old spring break, so we're back with it. We're on, is this game one or two of playoffs?
This is the semifinal.
Semifinals.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. So this match determines if they're going to be in the running for third or fourth place or first and second, correct?
Correct. They win this, they're in the final.
Yeah, so fingers crossed. I believe we've played this team already and got them, you said it was 7-2, 7-2?
I want to say it was double 7-2s, yep. And played them just a few weeks back, like a month or so ago.
I remember that game. It was a fun one. You were on a roll that day. I do remember.
Oh, my goodness.
I believe, was this the team where you had the thing that had me and Alan like crying, laughing, where they said, if you're CUA here, what do you do to win? And you said, look, if I'm CUA here, I don't think we can.
Yeah, it was a tough one for sure for CUA, and EKU had to work for it too though, and hopefully we get a really good matchup tonight. I think we're gonna get into Cafe first thing, and been a pretty good map for the EKU white team. I do think that CUA picked this map against the white team though, so maybe they've prepared something because they have got a chance to see how EKU white play their Cafe, maybe have some counter strategy going on.
I mean, even in a game like this, where it's those tag shooter gameplays, even between rounds, you learn so much about your opponents that you can be able to adapt. So who knows? We might see CUA go in here, have practiced the exact way that, because we know they have a VOD of it because we made the VOD of it. So if they watch that VOD back and just manage to figure out exactly how EKU white played on these maps, counter that, I mean, that could be really, really good for them.
Right. And looks like the players should be ready soon here.
Yep.
To get in. Everybody's in here. Everybody's saying ready. Hopefully we ought to be jumping in.
Yeah, so Cafe is first, and that's always a fun one to watch. It feels like it's one of those classic maps for this game. I mean, it's been out since I started playing, and it just feels like it's picked almost every game here.
Yeah, I think it's a favorite of EKU White as well, so it will get played quite a bit in these games, and it's what we're going to see first thing here as we get into map one of EKU White versus CUA semifinal for ECAC playoffs.
Yeah.
Winner gets a shot at the Division C title.
Perfect. What are we expecting here for this ban phase?
So thinking about what we saw, I'm not sure what to expect from CUA, but I think EKU last time around banned Buck, I want to say. So there's a Grim ban. I believe that's what EKU had banned against them last time as well. We saw a Buck ban from EKU last time. I'm curious if we'll see something different or not. Maybe they know a thing or two about CUA.
Yeah, take some time. Like it says, goes for both teams, being able to take some time to really learn how they play. And I mean, not what we expected, but also kind of run-of-the-mill ban there. And then,
yeah, Blackbeard ban is pretty expected from EKU here in this current meta. And Azami, again, not a surprise. The meta, and especially on Cafe, not too obscure of a ban. And see what CUA ought to take out for the defensive side. Pretty standard stuff so far. You don't see Grim as much, but Grim can be decent on Cafe. So fair ban. And Warden, that's a very unique ban. I want to say maybe they saw how EKU played in VIP a lot on Kitchen, because we did see the Warden come out for that position a lot, especially last week. So maybe CUA were like, yeah, let's take the Warden out of spot there. So maybe they'll be looking to flash or something of the sort, smoke that lane on the Kitchen attacks, because that's a very specific ban for sure.
Yeah, and we do have the opportunity here to play Ying if they want to play those heavy flashes in there against them, but it doesn't look like that's what either team is kind of looking at right now, but you never know.
It looks like first up we're going to see Bar come out from CUA, and EKU White's Bar attacks have been very good. Last week, I'm not sure that they lost a single Bar attack, and very well polished. So we'll see how they hold up against CUA here and CUA's defense. So it does look like CUA are going to bring a pulse below, and a Valk. So very information heavy, C4 heavy. Probably going to look to get some picks that way. Got, I think, 4 C4s here on the bomb site. So
that is a bad day to be CUA against that. We can just say that much.
Yeah, EKU definitely going to have to watch their step. New Balk and on the piano side, as we get underway into the round, we'll see how EKU opt to approach this. Last week, going for some heavy cigar side and piano side takes, and we'll see if it keeps up this week here in their next game.
Yeah, and it looks like very quickly we're seeing some action moving up to that top area. Try to get some poke damage down on them, see if they can get a few early picks here. As we'll have to wait and see if we see one of these instances of, feels like so many teams, especially in this division, just wait just too long. Feels like almost for no reason. Playing a bit too safe at times, then giving yourself about 30 seconds to get onto that side and get in.
Yeah, you want to definitely take initiative, especially when you know you have space that can be taken. And EKU should be droning out this top floor here and should be seeing that does not look like CUA are contesting them very much here outside of just some mirrors set up.
But it looks like
the Jaeger prone under this window.
Yeah, it looks like he may be able to find an angle.
Pick for Cord on or Kiwi on the Zofia. Oh, but the Jaeger just slips by. And Kiwi will just continue to hold some Overwatch, cutting the site apart here just by his presence on this window.
Though we were able to spot someone there. I wasn't quite able to pick up who it was. Maybe the mute? Yes.
Mute of Solus, who Solus was quite a standout player on the last time around for CUA. And
if either of these two players get just a bit further. Oh, yeah. We didn't see him.
Again, though, EKU have not done too much this round. After initially approaching the map, they are just sort of static here. Just now getting into piano and cigar. K-Bomb with an entry pick onto Sharkhat. And there's the C4 that we warned about earlier with Pulse below. Gets that pick onto Raggy. And now it's a 3 versus 4 for EKU as they trade after the entry and gets C4'd by the Pulse from below.
For a second there, I thought they were in that other room. Thought they were bathroom there.
Looks like K-Bomb's trying to hunt a ghost down here on the second floor as all of CUA have rotated back up to the top floor. And here's Solus swinging out on this Mira. You go down to minimal HP. 15 seconds left for the attack, though. They're going to have to make some moves if they're going to win this round. You go with a huge, or that's Loki with a huge pick. It's two for 1, but Solus finds Yugo, and now it's a 1 versus 2 for K-Bomb. Probably just out of reach. He finds Solus, but there's one more defender that can't be found.
And unfortunately, we did not have bomb.
EKU dropped the first round on the bar attack. The first bar attack that we might have seen EKU lose here, as they've been so proficient on. We see them run out of time. About a whole minute there in the middle of the round that just went into the wind as EKU end up making a rushed collapse that almost worked out thanks to Loki entering into Freezer, getting 2, but it just wasn't enough when the time hit 0.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting things you see in games like this, that sometimes you have to wait till you're rushed, but when you're rushed, you play well, which leads you to think maybe just take initiative. Play that fast game. Play that, get in there, entry, get your picks, and work off of that instead of just trying to slow down. Sometimes, I mean, especially games like this, sometimes you just win your gunfights. Sometimes you just go in, take the fight, and win it.
Yeah, just play fast and play with confidence, and sometimes you'll be surprised what you can get done. And yeah, I think that's a great point. EKU, they won the gunfights. They made the plays when they actually walked, but it took them a long time to start moving, and the time is what got them, not their individual skill. And CUA are going to enter their kitchen round with the 1-0 advantage here on Cafe. We'll see EKU struggling last week with their kitchen attacks, but they did fix it at the end, and we'll see if that fix can translate over to their semifinal game here against CUA. And bringing the Ram, the Deimos, they're almost certainly going for a full clear here at top down.
Yeah, I mean, top down pretty standard on this map. Most maps, but this one I feel like is especially one of those ones that's very good, especially those like angles you can get just being on that top floor where that balcony is just open for you to kind of peek through half of the rooms there.
Yeah, top down, definitely the textbook take. And just when you have all the control that you need, all you got to watch is your time. So going for top down, would like to see EKU manage their time better this round if they want to win this. And it does look like they're doing a great job of droning. Already down on the second floor, should spot out Sea Moose here on the Mozzie pretty soon. And would like to see EKU taking some space pretty quick.
Yeah, it feels like that's what we're kind of doing already, getting our info, knowing, hey, there's no one top floor that we can tell. And so far, we've not seen any contact second floor, being able to just realize that, hey, we kind of got our vertical already.
Yeah, and the power of the Deimos here, just the pressure is going to send Sea Moose down to the bottom floor. And that was their only roamer now. CUA down, all bunkered on the first floor, as EKU have all the control they need now to start opening up some pressure above the site.
Yeah, so far this is exactly how EKU is wanting to play this. The only issue can come in is just we've seen this play work out before to where they don't realize they've cleared an entire floor off. And as we see here, they're still clearing this floor, though it's empty. The only times here now you just need to watch your staircases, make sure no one's like flanks up on you. Other than that, you're just kind of wasting precious time the slower you move.
Yeah, it looks like EKU's still wary. You're right, as they enter the second floor here, but should have had it droned out, and now they're just going to open up some vert and hopefully play safe while making that vert to not get C4'd, as we see, I believe, 3 C4s on the defensive side that can be used against EKU as they start opening up this vert, getting this pressure going. With a minute left, though, it seems that they're wanting to start creeping down. And
it looks like we're going to see contact. Perfect from K-Bomb there as we're just moving into this final floor here, and we've got it 50 seconds left on the board. I mean, really all that's left into is just to execute on site and try to get their picks. And I about said spike. I've not done that since like week 1. Get the diffuser down.
Yeah, 30 seconds left though. Everybody on CUA, I believe, is in kitchen or bakery now. EKU need to take this space that they have, especially here on the restaurant side. K-Bomb contact onto Shark Hat, but just doesn't find the kill as Shark Hat slips back into the bomb site.
And as I was saying earlier, it feels like I spoke it into existence almost. Of like we had that floor cleared, but we kept wasting precious time on clearing it more. And now we're back in the same situation. 7 seconds to get on the site when we had it mostly clear the whole time.
Yeah, the trade's come out though, and 2v2 now. And Hugo goes down as he attempts to plant the bomb. And another round from CUA that they win on time. And yeah, EKU just so slow on getting that top-down control that they wanted. And it cost them again in the end, losing out when that timer hit 0-0-0.
Yeah, and it seems like in the past we've had the word of the day be adaptability, but it feels like today the word of the day is confidence. We just need to get in there, go take our gunfights, because we win most gunfights. The only issue is, of course, we can't rush too much. There is a balance to it, because there are instances where they will have those insane cross-map angle on you that when you walk into, you're just dunzos. But overall, confidence is really the key in a game like this. Don't let your time take away.
Right. Would like to see EKU taking space faster and with some more initiative than we have been seeing. And with how they seemed to struggle last week on their defenses, you'd hope to see EKU get some more rounds on their cafe attacks. They did an excellent job last week. I believe they won every site they attacked except for kitchen, but this time they lost bar, lost kitchen. Now we're going to jump over to reading and see if EKU can fix this time issue. Looks like they will swap Loki over to the Blitz, perhaps to take space a little faster, to be more aggressive. And that is an adaptation that I definitely like and I think could help them. But actually, Loki going to instead go off to the Nomad, and pretty standard lineup here for some cafe attack. Probably going to look for top down clear again above reading this time, and hopefully time isn't the issue again.
Not to throw anyone under the bus here, but I am really hoping with this Nomad we don't see what we saw last time with Borger, where the anti-flank character got flanked.
Yeah,
So,
very, very
good
odd.
character to pick if you remember to use your util. That is.
Nomad gets killed by a flanker. Bit ironic. I'm gonna identify this Mira here, and unfortunately couldn't identify they had a Mira earlier in the round. Could have had an Ash instead of either the Deimos or the IQ maybe to clear that Mira, but now there's very little that EKU can do directly to take care of that Mira, and again, you hope that that's not going to be an issue for them on the time, but if the trends continue, this could be a wrench in EKU's plans of getting this top 4 control, because they're going to need bar. They're going to need to deal with this Mira.
Yeah. Looks like we do now have, I believe from bullet trails, we do know where the dock is sitting behind that Mira, so we do have that info of peek this carefully.
Yeah, K-Bomb now going to track this Mira who's partnered up with Seamoose there on the dock here on the top floor, and K-Bomb going to take the space, but got to be a little careful from this dock peeking out. And what a shot on
Beautiful
Seamoose.
shot.
K-Bomb with another entry kill, but Monk is going to refrag and find Loki walking up white stairs. EKU not thinking about the flank, and Nomad did die to a walk-up.
Well,
To be fair, that was on the other side of the map from where they entered, but still a little bit ironic. And now EKU...
I do believe it is the exact same staircase in which Borger died last time. So, once again, I'll say Caster's Curse. My bad, bro. I didn't mean it.
Poor Nomad, poor Loki there getting flanked. But I actually believe so far we've seen EKU go 3-0 on their entry engagements, and K-Bomb getting all of those, but after that, not taking any further space with any efficiency. And again, we have a 3v4 now with all of CUA just sitting on that second floor, and 30 seconds remain.
30 seconds. Yeah, just 30 seconds on a dream is all EKU has left here just to take this site fully.
You go does find Monk though, and that's going to be huge to equalize the man count as Raggy's opening up the breeding wall, and they're going to look to try to slip this diffuser into the bomb site soon with 10 seconds remaining. Raggy's going to try to put the plant down, and here come the defenders to collapse on this plant.
And I don't know that we have anybody who knows where Sololess is right now.
No, Sololess finds the Overwatch, and now Raggy in a 1v2 might get pinched out from either side here. Oh, actually, Kiwi's still up. Kiwi found Sololess. Thought that went the other way.
I kind of did too.
2v1 then for EKU, much more favorable, actually.
Yeah.
As Kiwi has the above control, and Raggy's posted up outside on that pillar door. 5-star general looking to make a 5-star play, but he won't as Raggy takes him down outside that reading breach. And EKU, with their first attack of the night, comes on reading the third bomb site there from CUA.
Yeah, and I can say what kind of went right there was they played a bit more confidently. Yes, they lost those two pretty quickly in the round, but they still whittled away at their time, but their execute went well. They got on the site, they got the plant down, and they held it good, which is kind of, wish we could just see it a bit earlier in the round, but once they got that pressure on them to get onto the site, they execute well.
Yeah, another slow round, but the execute and the plan is there, as has been. Just has to seed into a little better on time. And now we get to the interesting phase on the EKU attacks. They've seen the 3 bomb sites that CUA are running, and now it's time to play them for a second time, see what adaptations come out from both sides or don't come out, and how it plays out here on the back half of the attack split for EKU.
Yeah, and the Nox a bit of an interesting pick to me because in my level of play, I can never get behind it because to me it's very good to be able to get places more quietly, but at times it's just, is there other util that could be more important? So what is your thoughts on this pick here?
Yeah, Nock, you don't see her super often in the competitive side, but occasionally you'll see Nock to just sort of be a sort of a wild card X factor pick, especially here, kind of on second attacks where you're like, oh, this might have been a gap that we can take. And because often you'll see somebody flipping the default cameras for information on the defense early, and Nock can just slip in, be somewhere unexpected fast. And I wonder if that's what we'll see Kiwi doing? Could enter bakery go up red? Could enter bottom white? Both of those entrances have cameras on them that could be slipped past, and it does look like he's going to drone out the bakery side, so might look to get in bakery early and maybe go up red stairs or something, but does look like the rest of EKU are keeping what they had last time. Oh, but C-Moose is down here, and Nock's going to run into him. Too busy shooting the default. He gets taken down, but you go with a pistol refrag onto C-Moose.
You go with pistol. Oh, IQ. I was like, why did we have a pistol out there? But that makes more sense.
IQ with the pistol out does get the refrag. So, again, losing Kiwi early, it's never ideal to lose, to go 1-for-1 hardly on attack, but you do have to think about it as Nock's abilities not utility focused. So perhaps the 1-for-1 trade to not have to worry about the pulse from now on was more valuable for EKU there than for CUA. As K-Bomb finds Shark Hat, that's the Mira going down in bathroom.
Yeah, and now it's one of those situations. We have the numbers here. We just need to, I think, and take it confidently, push in here, and secure the round for our second round win of the day.
Yeah, EKU going to look to take the space. This is kind of where they got to last time when they started stalling out, but it does not look like that'll happen this time as Raggy picks Monk swinging out there on Heaven.
We do have basic knowledge of where one of them is, and I don't know that we've seen. Now we do. Like, we know where both are, so we just need to play our gunfights right.
Yeah, the diffuser's going down, and Hugo takes down 5-star. It's just Sololess getting taken out by K-Bomb on the white stairs, and EKU have now equalized 2-2 here on the attacking side. And yeah, just great stuff from EKU, much faster and interesting entry play there on the trade in the bakery. But you're really satisfied with that, losing the knock for the pulse, and from then on, without worrying about the guy below, EKU did take the initiative and the speed to get in. So maybe you didn't wonder last time if maybe the slow pace had to do with them being worried about the pulse below, afraid to walk into piano, afraid to move around because of that player that was below that might see for them. And with him getting taken out early on this last round, they got all the space that they needed, and they moved much faster, much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the biggest deterrent is just a good player in a good position. That, especially when you don't know where their position is, sometimes that can just be terrifying. When you have a player that does something different every round and you don't know where they're going to be at, it makes you feel like kind of like you're fighting your demons there a little bit, clearing every corner. But I would like to bounce off something you said last round, which is interesting to me as my main game being Valorant. You did mention that you really do not want to lose that trade on an attacker side, which is interesting because in Valorant, it's quite the opposite. A trade is so much better for the attackers than it is a defender. So would you say in this game it's like much more beneficial for a defender to get a trade in this game?
Yeah, more often it's more beneficial for defenders because a lot of the time you have defenders that will already have deployed all their utility in the prep phase, and they have no more utility that can be used later in the round that you could get value out of. And the attack comes in with all their utility, and a lot of the time if you die as an attacker early in the round, that's an important piece of your attacking scheme that is out of the picture, a lot of utility that's out of the picture. So more often it's favored for the defense, but it also sort of depends on operators, and seeing the knock for the pulse was one case where it was favorable for the attack to trade out there. But a lot of the time it will be favorable for the defense to hit a trade.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that util because in Valorant on defense, a lot of your util goes down when you go down. Like your Cypher trips, your KJ trips and stuff, they'll drop down when you die. So it kind of nullifies that situation for you. And it looks like we're trying to do, once again, clearing from the top. We do have knowledge where one of their players is right there by the Mira, which, I mean, that's kind of a given in any round that someone's going to be playing there.
Yeah, and this time much better from EKU to bring the Twitch. They brought the Ash, all to deal with the Mira and this utility on CUA side, and looks like they will get that bathroom Mira and start opening everything up. And This time around, it's Sololess who is below, but it's not Pulse, it's an Echo down in Pillar. Might be a problem as he hits a run out, runs out that snow door, finds Kiwi, who has been cutting off that cocktail repel that we saw in the first round, and getting aggressive now onto Noob. Raggy's going to have to worry about this player below. With a minute left, if EKU don't move faster, these Yokais could end up being detrimental to the late round for EKU.
Yeah, it feels like that early pick was just very not ideal, especially not being able to trade it out on someone like Echo, who can just, if played right, be such an oppressive operator.
Yeah, unfortunate that nobody was there on Noob to get the trade as he ran back in through that snow door that you see, but it is what it is. But EKU, again, like the first round here on their bar attack, they're just not pushing any further after their initial space they take, and the time is going to be what costs them, as Solus is almost certainly going to play below. But no, he walks up, finds K-Bomb Whitehall. Raggy's going to put the diffuser down. It's a 2v5, but the diffuser is down.
Yeah, how did we...
Now it's a 1 versus 5 for Hugo, but with time on his side, if he plays this right, he might be able to find these 5 players who are now stacking up. But Solus wraps around Whitehall and finds him, and the collapse from EKU is CUA put in the work to stop the final execute, picking enough players down that even though the bomb was down, it didn't matter. They just cleaned up the rest.
Yeah, it really felt like getting that bomb down that early was the best we could hope for, but once we lost down to that 2v5, there's not much you can do in that situation.
Yeah, very unfortunate. EKU beating the time that time around, but it was their gunfights, it seemed like that time, or their maybe lack of awareness that ended up getting them picked apart. So now we're going to see CUA head back down to Kitchen, which EKU struggled with the first time around. They initially fixed their bar attack, but lost the third one previously, and now we're going to see if they can fix their Kitchen attack. But it does look like the CUA are switching up their game plan. Vigil of Solus is most likely going to be upstairs somewhere. Last time it was just C-Moose on the Mozzie, who quickly fell back to side after getting Deimos tracked, but bringing the Vigil to counter the Deimos, if EKU go top down, they're going to have a lot more trouble. But seeing the Montaigne and no vertical operators makes me think that EKU might go for Bakery here, or perhaps the restaurant side, but definitely not top down without the operators to open up that vert.
Yeah, and as we've seen so far, most of these rounds, it feels like CUA feels much more comfortable having Sololess on that roam, just being able to take those angles. Sololess feels like a player who really excels in knowing where to be and when. Just having that timing on EKU so far, that on a character like Vigil, being able to move around a lot more freely could really cause a problem here.
Yeah, and it does look like that EKU will try to bypass that roam by going directly onto Bakery here, and likely going to use this Montaigne to take the space. So now the question is, does CUA have vertical made above prep here? You can tell the Montaigne's checking it. He sees there's no vert, and with no vert on prep, a Bakery take ends up being pretty free for the attackers. We'll just see if EKU can capitalize on this setup error from CUA.
Yeah, it looks like one of those situations. We know they have the intel, but do they know they have the intel that they're safe to take this push?
Right. Seeing no vert holes there above prep negates the presence of those 2 roamers on the top floor as Hugo finds Cade. That's one less defender on site, and EKU were aware they could go for this site pretty quick here, but now Solus is going to come back. He's going to down the lion of K-Bomb outside restaurant, getting smoked there by the Vigil Boss G.
Yeah, another perfect example of Soloist knowing where to be and when, just being able to find those picks off of EKU kind of slowed down any momentum they had.
Yeah, but now the Legion here, just 5-star just stands right up and kills Loki somehow. And he was the Montaigne too. If he just backwards planted, bomb would have gone down. And if just looking a little
Hugo Rave with a nice save there, though, taking Shark out, his teammate ran right back into the room.
Yeah, now it's just these two roamers. Seamoose looking to maybe try to come down red stairs here. We might have an engagement between Kiwi and Seamoose shortly. Solus is now holding that Vertibug prep we were talking about. Previously, he just impacted it. So now it's a...
Oh! Kiwi winning the gunfight.
Have to imagine
with a
Seamoose
miracle there.
must have whiffed a bit there as Kiwi had no idea he was there, but still wins the gunfight. And now it's Solus solo in a 1 versus 3. But he's playing this Vert. But EKU looks like they are wisely going to bypass the Vert by going Red Hall. Very good play. And almost picks Yugo. He does get Yugo outside of Bake. And actually, Kiwi's injured somehow. Not sure how that happened, but Raggy's going to get the revive. The bomb's down. It's a 2 versus 1. Solo's going to have to come back to the site, try to make a play in the post plant.
Yeah, and this is a scary situation to be in. Yes, it's a 2v1, but Soloist has been the star player this entire round from CUA, and a scary person to be up against in a 1v2. We get the info on where he's at. Now it just comes down to being able to play as a team, hold your cross here, and make sure that they don't swing and not play together. But it looks like we were able to get it, and I think he felt very good about that, shaking his head no there. I know I've been caught on stream doing that one multiple times. I think one of my favorite clips from my player side was I was Jet, and Jet Knives is her ult, and I get like full stunned by like 2 things, and I still just hit the 1 tap, and I just shake my head no so hard at them. Like sometimes you feel it when you get that win, even though it was a scary win to have gotten. I'm not sure that should have played out the way it played out, but we take what we can get.
Yeah, Raggy struggling just a little bit there, but he does get the kill, so be proud of it and truck on as EKU flip sides to now tackle the defense on Cafe. They're gonna go kitchen first here, and Loki, recall talking about that Warden ban from CUA taking out Loki's operator that he had been playing here a lot on the VIP side. Going to be forced to play the Ella now, and we'll see if that changes things or if Loki still manages to play that spot just the same, and how EKU tackle this kitchen defense.
Now, Ella's an operator that I don't feel like I see too much of anymore. I know that used to be one of the most played characters back when I played, but anymore, I swear, it feels like I've only seen him once or twice, and it was on this map. So is this just one of those agents that's very specific times when they're good, or?
In the current meta, I'd say that you see Ella a lot when you're trying to counter shield play. So there's a good chance that EKU also remembered that maybe CUA liked to play shields and see Monkus playing the Montaigne. So perhaps that was the decision. Also, Ella has a shield, so Warden getting taken out of the picture. You want an operator with a shield, a deployable shield, and you want to counter attack your shields. Mm-hmm. So the Ella just seemed supposed to EKU as the choice to fall back on, but you don't see Ella too much unless it's to counter shields. But I wouldn't say she's irrelevant in the current meta. Do see her a decent amount. And K-Bomb again, just like last week, just unaware of windows, he's shooting a drone and getting shot from a window at the same time. And gonna put his team immediately in a 4v5 because of a lack of awareness. And
it feels like
a little ironic.
Another instance of Soloist knowing exactly where to be and when.
I have to say it's pretty ironic. I ran into K-Bomb today actually, and he brought up the play he had last week where he got shot on the roam from a window while shooting a drone. Complained to me for flaming him for doing that, saying that he wasn't supposed to know there was somebody there, but the exact same thing just happened. And Raggy hits a great shot though onto Seamoose. That's the Ram, and I don't know if Ram got any other Rams off, but if not, then she only got the one gadget off before getting picked with.
It looks like it was just the one and then the breach charge there.
Yeah, that's really good value for Raggy to challenge that and to equalize the man count after K-Bomb's little blunder.
It looks like we're still just trying to get this vertical play taken care of, keeping it above the bomb sites here as we... Looks like EKU mostly has retreated back down onto that first floor.
Yeah, EKU bunkering up now, and CUA know this, but CUA are about to be pressed for time. This Montaigne drops Freezer. And gonna look to pressure, and here comes Shark Hat with the ace, gets Kiwi, that's the bunker player, and now EKU didn't seem like they were all there to take care of this, and Solus from the vert gonna find Raggy, and it's dire now for EKU. They just get picked apart here on this collapse. Loki gonna opt to go up, but it's too little too late. Doesn't quite hit the shot either against Solus, who will find Loki, and they drop their first defense here on their kitchen defense against CUA. Quite unfortunate. The roam just was as minimal as it can be with K-Bomb dying immediately, and although Raggy did a great job equalizing through the vert, it didn't seem like EKU knew how to play the positions to contain that Freezer flood, and when CUA just sort of spearheaded their way from Freezer, EKU got picked apart on the side and controlled the round, slipped away.
Yeah, it really felt like that timing there at the start of the round was really just the domino for CUA there.
Yes, and now we'll see what EKU have for reading defense. They're going to move away from that kitchen bomb site, going to keep rotating despite losing it. And seemed like this was a pretty good side for them, especially last week. I believe they won both of their reading defenses, if I recall. Actually, those might have been the only defenses that they won against their previous opponent. But we'll see how it fares up against CUA and how CUA opt to take this. With Seamoose swapping over to the Ram, we're likely going to spot that top floor as per usual, getting control here for top down on reading.
Now, the Cali is an interesting pick, but it is sololess, so that makes me a little scared. It's kind of a high risk, high reward character there.
I think it's a pretty understandable. They, instead of bringing the Ash, having solos play the Ash, he's just going to play the Cali instead to deal with the Miras, and also you can deal with the castles as well. So maybe it's to deal with utility, or maybe it's because he likes sitting on in spawn and opening up angles.
Yeah, I'll just have to see how this goes on as the round plays, and EKU here should get that info pretty quick because that is a loud gun to be shooting. So they might just know, hey, let's be careful around our windows here.
Yeah, just going to opt to cut that 90 haul in two and stop any rotations there. So wonder how long he'll be posted up in that spot, but it's interesting to have Soloist on it. It looks like he's moving now. Gonna approach the building. And it still looks like CUA have yet to enter the map. And we're nearly halfway through the round. Here comes Monk rappelling into Piano. And gonna look to take space on the Whitehall side of the map, but currently there's nobody to back him up, so actually he's already in Freezer, and it's a little risky from Monk as he has no backup just yet. Just now it seems though CUA are getting into the top floor here.
Yeah, but as dangerous as that is for Monk, it feels like there's no one there to really help out EKU's player that was getting pressured.
Yeah, it looks like Loki was just totally unaware that People come Whitehall and he gets walked on by the Hibana. But it does look like Raggy's going to equalize. He downs Sharkat, who is getting rezzed.
And then we're just going to see this playing off of each other, holding that angle together as the Monty pushes in, as we're pressured all around here from EKU.
Yeah, another good pick from Raggy. But as he's mailing this Montaigne, here comes the attack. He manages to down one, but 5-star are going to finish him off. And, oh, if that C4 was just placed a little different, that could have been a 3-piece maybe. But he finds the feet, Kiwi, of Monk. And now it's a 2 versus 3. A little more manageable. Simu's just 1 health. But the bomb's going down. There's no vertical coverage. Kiwi finds the planter. The vertical doesn't work out. And now it's a 2 versus 2. Solus is going to find Hugo, though. Now it's a 1 versus 2 for Kiwi. But both of these attackers are 1 HP, but it doesn't matter. Solus hits his shots. Kiwi goes down. Good attempt to bring it back from Kiwi and Hugo, but that Montaigne was just a nuisance for EKU, and the good rounds come out again.
Yeah, I forgot that this was the team that good rounds every single round.
Can't say you see that all the time, but you can appreciate the sportsmanship.
Gotta commend the attitude there.
Yeah.
They actually have every time they do it. The guy is just happy to be playing Siege.
Yeah, and also must be happy to be up 5-3 against EKU here, as again, CUA kind of got clobbered by EKU in their previous matchup, but they are taking control of this one, and EKU are on the back foot, 2 rounds behind now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what we were talking about before the round started, that this was a map that they lost on last time and have probably taken the time and energy to really understand what went wrong for them and what went right for them, as well as, more importantly, what went wrong for their opponents. I think that's just as important to know as what went wrong for you. Even if you lose the game, knowing what your opponents did badly is very good to be able to prioritize off of on the next time you play.
Yeah, perhaps we saw then some stuff cooked up by CUA in the meantime after seeing how EKU played their cafe. And
yeah, I do remember that game felt very, it seems one-sided to say a 7-2, 7-2. However, all of the rounds that EKU won were pretty close when they played it.
Yeah, that's true. And this time CUA is winning these close rounds. I mean, 2 of these rounds were just won on time by the defenders. Could have been different if EKU were just a few seconds ahead. But as it stands, it's 3-5 for EKU, as now they're going to look to hold down the top floor here against CUA. And interesting to see the Sense and the OSA here. Could see some crazy execute going on here with both of these, although it does look like right now the OSA's just posted up on the Heaven window repel. And a minute into the round, and it doesn't seem like CUA have pressured or pushed too much of anything so far.
Yeah,
but they are posted slow. They are posted up though to maybe just slowly try to work a pick or something, or punish a rotation early, but EKU just aren't giving them anything.
Yeah, in situations like this, it's important for EKU to realize that as long as the enemies aren't pushing in on you that hard, stay where you are. Keep yourself planted.
But here comes the executors. We had 2 repel in Heaven, but Hugo finds both, actually. And here comes another repelling in Cocktail, punished by EKU. And now it's a 2 versus 5 for CUA. Maybe CUA saw that EKU struggled on these repel-ins last week, which seemed to tear them apart, but this time EKU managed it just fine, although Solus will grab Loki there on the shop side. But now it's 2 versus 5. The attack flips. Now Solus and 5-star going to enter in Cigar. But with 4 defenders up, might not be able to do much.
Yeah, even though Solus did get the pick on Loki, Loki did some serious damage on them. Yeah,
looks like CUA are just going to maybe try to force a fight or a plant. They're going to have to clear out K-bomb here in Pixel before they can do anything on the bomb site. And I'm not sure that that'll happen at this rate, but the sense will come out. And maybe this line of sight cutoff could prevent EKU from punishing this plant, but if I'm CUA, I'm planting off this, and
Oh, so close.
just missing. The C4 comes out, but it finds the wrong person.
Wait.
And it doesn't look like K-bomb realizes,
Oh.
but he finds him on the retreat, and EKU managed the 4v2 in the end, although a really good effort from Solus and 5-star to try to get that plant down. Almost, they did get the plant down, and they almost made it to post plant.
Yeah. Especially with that slight misplay, not realizing the planter was the one still alive. They almost got it down and could tuck that corner.
Yeah, still a tough situation, but could have still kept their chances alive. But instead, EKU are going to find their first defense. It comes on the third one on bar, and now they're going to head back down to kitchen. Look to fix what went wrong last time. Looks like the same operator lineup for the most part.
Yeah,
But
looks
there's
like
the-
we're just going for that goal of just one round at a time. Just get 3 more. That's map 1.
Yeah, gonna have to sweep the rest of their defenses, but not unheard of here on Cafe. And does look like they're gonna bring Cade and Frost, maybe, or Frost and Castle that didn't have last time. I don't quite recall, but we will see K-Bomb again on the Vigil, and if he gets any more value than he did last time, it'll be better than their previous attempt on Kitchen defense, and hopefully going to play a bit more safer, a bit smarter on the run here. And
Look out for windows.
just look out for windows, K-Bomb, especially when you're shooting a drone.
Next week we're gonna see K-Bomb play. He's just not gonna look at a drone the entire time.
It's honestly impressive that the exact thing happened again, but I'm sure that he'll fix it. He's going to be very conscious about that this time around, you would hope. And you see him looking at the windows this time.
Yeah. Could you imagine how great it would have been if we switched over and he was looking at a drone though?
Looks like he will wisely rotate down to the second floor, but we've been focusing on Vigil on the roam. CUA decided to not do that a bit, and instead they are looking to push. Looks like Small Bacon Bakery isolated here and just bypass that Vigil.
Yeah, and if we get that info, it looks like
Yeah.
once we get that info that where they're pushing, we might want to try to get that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, great pick from Raggy there to just punish through the strip made in the prep wall. And now it's a 5 versus 4. That's the ace down. That's their ticket to get into Bakery. And I don't know if EKU can manage to reinforce the bake wall off now with all of the attackers in here, but still the ace going down is huge. And K-Bomb's still up above as well. If he would impact some vert above prep.
Yeah, that's
You
what I
cut
was
that off.
thinking is once we get that info, we can move into prep. But there is solo-less on that floor, and I think we might be able to sense it just a bit here and just waiting for that push to happen.
Yeah, if the fight that goes down between K-Bomb and Soloist might determine the round. But meanwhile, Raggy finds Sharkhat, and so far Raggy's just been taking care of business here on the Bakery side, getting the ace, getting the Flores, and now it's just Nomad backing up the Montaigne as Soloist is up top. You know, a little bit of a dance with K-Bomb.
Yeah, and it looks like K-Bomb might just be just keeping it safe there once he realized that. Uh-oh.
Great C4 coming out from Raggy, but it misses.
What?
It doesn't get behind the chassis. K-Bomb does
K-Bomb
win.
finds it.
He
yeah.
wins the dance finally up top, and now it should be an easy collapse on these last two. As 5-star might get the plant down though, as Montaigne covers. It will, but here comes the prep vert and the collapse from all around. It's just the Montaigne. He's going to get harassed, and
Yeah.
Now a 5v0 as EKU punished the CUA Bakery ISO there, and despite the diffuser going down, so did all of CUA.
Yes.
EKU take the round, and great plays from
good
Raggy.
rounds go out, of course.
Yeah, there were the good rounds again, and Raggy just doing a great job there. Just kind of by himself for a little bit there, but winning some important gunfights on the Bakery side, and that's what it took. And now it's 5-5. Going to rotate back to Reading, which we saw them lose last time, although it was very close. It was Kiwi, I believe, in a 1 versus 2, had both attackers at 1 health, and just could not quite finish it. But we'll see how they do this round, as again we see Montaigne, and actually we see the Aurora pick come out, which I believe is banned in ECAC.
Yes, I
So
thought so as well.
likely going to see that swapped over from that player. Could also be AFK. As it here comes the
There
swap.
it is,
Yeah. Yeah, as long, you can pick it as long as you don't commit to it in the round in ECAC. For the remainder of the playoffs, Aurora is going to be banned.
Just give us a little spook here in casting chair.
Yeah, Seamoose will swap over to the Blitz, and the double shield is pretty interesting for CUA. The shield worked out great for them last round, just really unsettling EKU there on the top floor, and kind of made EKU look a little silly with their positioning and decision making, because they just did not know how to deal with the Montaigne. And now there's going to be 2 shields to deal with, and see how CUA opt to use this Blitz.
Yeah, it could be very much a lot of pressure on EKU there with those 2 shields, just to kind of move in quickly, especially with the Blitz.
Could be a rush, actually, as Seamus might run straight in. Kiwi is going to be the victim here, but surely Kiwi hears the shield punching the barricade, and it's going to slip away, tuck himself a little deeper in Reading, so he's not going to get bullied too early. But K-Bomb with a great angle here above, but again, dies to the window rappel, as he doesn't think about an attacker rappelling up, and when the spray comes in, he sprints right into the spray. And another K-Bomb versus window situation that K-Bomb is currently scoreless on.
And I will say, in K-Bomb's defense here, I did notice a yellow ping go onto K-Bomb. So they did know he was up there and took that fight knowing they were fighting somebody, while he got kind of spooked from the window behind him. And the
C4 somehow not killing Seamoose, and now there's 2 shields in the site. You go with a team kill, though. Loki's behind everybody, but he's doing nothing. But he finds Blitzer. Actually, Raggy does, and somehow it's a 3v3 again for EKU, as Hugo gets Monk, and Loki's still just existing in the room with everyone else.
Yeah, what did we just watch?
Raggy with a C4 onto 5-star. Solus finds Raggy, though. 1 versus 2 now against Loki and Hugo, who still struggling.
Yeah, I think Loki might just take a couple breaths here, get back in there.
Yeah. Hugo with
There we go.
the pump finds Soloist to secure the round, and it seemed like Loki was in the Matrix there, and I don't know, that was maybe the luckiest and unluckiest encounter ever. Somehow whiffing every bullet on every attacker, but no attacker seemed to ever acknowledge his existence either.
I mean,
And he survives.
I gotta say, we've all been there. Like, the amount of times I have had the most insane, like, angle, perfect trigger discipline, let them all walk by me, and then whiff every shot. I gotta say, I've been there, man. But, was it interesting to watch?
Loki just a ghost passing through on that round, but EKU will secure it and go up 6-5, and what was a 3-5 game is now 6-5 as EKU string together 3 defenses, and now they're going to go back to Bar, which they won on their first attempt, and suddenly it's looking promising for EKU to clean it up and close the map out. So they're up 6-5.
Yeah, once again, as I was saying, kind of just focus it up on one round at a time. Slowly take that win. Don't let them get in your head how far ahead you are. As long as you win your next one, you're solid.
Yeah, here's the Sins and the Osa coming out again from CUA. Curious if they go for a similar take or if they switch it up.
Yeah, looks like pretty standard here from defense.
Yeah, same defense and almost the same attack lineup, but we'll see if a similar round plays out or not. Last time we saw CUA focus on the cocktail side very heavy, but it looks like this time it might be more piano and cigar focused, as K-Bomb is once again in a fight with a window.
I got faith though. This is the one.
This time K-Bomb knows someone is there, so maybe he will have a chance in this time around.
So there are a lot of windows here that are being broken.
Yeah, Simu's posting this Osa shield in the piano window this time, and Solo's trying to sense off, maybe to repel and take it, but so far no space taken. Oh, actually Montaigne and Shark had him monk on the Montaigne in top red.
Yeah, it feels like an instance of a whole lot of things happening while a whole lot of things aren't happening.
Yeah, Loki face to face with two of the attackers here, and also Sharkhat getting his health depleted, and Loki's about to be in trouble maybe if the attack focused on him, but looks like they also want to challenge K-Bomb here in Pixel. They got to make a choice on something, take a gunfight somewhere.
Yeah, still just nothing's happening yet. You're expecting it to explode onto sight as K-Bomb finds their one and is immediately saved by Raggy.
Raggy with a good cross, yeah, and K-Bomb with another, and Loki finds Seamoose.
All right, come on, K-Bomb. This is your chance in the window.
And he
is. We got to give him credit where credit's due the rest of that round.
Yeah, found a couple picks in that round, but again, struggling with the window, and now Loki looking to maybe make some vertical angles here onto the window repel to try to work the pick. But it'd be pretty hard for Solus to win this. EKU would have to give him a lot.
Yeah, and dare I say, shouldn't we just let Solus come to us here, right?
Indeed, but EKU probably feeling pretty excited about flipping the table and maybe taking this map.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that fully.
But it looks like Solus isn't going to give them hardly anything.
Yeah, Loki finishes out the round.
Yeah, timer's almost at 0 before the engagement comes out. Loki finishes him off, and EKU, despite, again, like last week, struggling early on Cafe, turn it around and will win the map. And this was CUA's pick. And EKU take it, although it was close.
Yeah, and it looks like they're proposing a break here. So if that's the case, we'll kind of do a post-game talk for a second here, and then we'll take a bit of a break ourselves.
Yeah, just attack pace was slow for EKU early, but it kind of tightened it up at the end, ended up with, I think, a 3-3 attack half, and then the defenses, although they start out 0-2, they finished 4-2, so they, again, fixed those issues as well. Just maybe they didn't expect what they saw initially from CUA, and because both halves, CUA seemed to get some early rounds, but yeah, at the end of the day, EKU polished their game up, fixed everything, and came back and took their opponent's first map pick in a best of 5, and we'll be looking to get into bank when we come back.
Yeah, so ideally EKU can just get the next 2 rounds and then we'll be done, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So we're taking a 5-minute break, so we will see you all in just a moment. We are back. Nature called for one of the players, and they've got themselves right back here, ready to play another round, this time on bank.
Yep, and this being EKU's map pick, you be curious to see if this one's a little more one-sided than the first map. And again, the first map going the direction of EKU is a very good indicator for them as they enter map 2 here. But you never know, as bans get underway, CUA take out the Grim, which we saw last time, so maybe that's just their
I think they might
ban.
just hate Grim,
Yeah.
honestly.
Blitz going to come out from EKU White.
Maybe targeted. Dare I say.
They were really uncomfortable with the shields. I'm definitely not surprised to see a shield ban. But maybe should have banned Monty because they were CUA was much more likely to play the Monty there on the previous map. But
Yeah, and interestingly enough, it felt like every time they dropped the Monty, it was in like the small shield just shooting the legs. So it feels like Blitz would be the one they could counter more in that play, but
not sure, but evidently that's what EKU wanted there. And the Mira and Azami coming out on bank, pretty standard stuff. We'll be interested to see the Cade being up, how that impacts the bottom floor, and also the Valkyrie being up. And on bank, usually you're going to see some Valkyrie as well. But
yeah. That's my top three there has always been Mira, Azami, Valk. So I know one of those at least will slide past the ban phase and I'll get to play one of my characters.
the easiest defenders to play.
Absolutely. That's why I do it. Actually, I've always done it because they're the slayest, but then they turned out to be the coolest. So I happened to pick based off vibes, and then the vibes characters ended up being good characters.
I actually don't know that I would say they're the easiest, but definitely the most valuable defenders at least.
Absolutely.
And up there, although current meta, you gotta remember, especially in comp, like Mute, always useful, and Fenrir is actually kind of hanging around as a pretty strong defender as well. But anyway, we're gonna head up to the top floor here as CUA defend it with a fairly standard setup here for the top floor. With the castle, you see almost every top floor defense, and Cade to likely lock down those elevator walls, which he electrified there. And
someone's having a good time out there. One of the things I was going to bring up too, when we're talking about bans, is it's always interesting to see that hello?
Souls with a crazy run out. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody attempt that. You're just outside for a.
And we quickly saw why people don't attempt that.
Yeah, Kiwi punishes that, and 5 versus 4 early for EKU, very advantageous.
But yeah, what I was going to say is it feels like there's some characters like Castle, which is almost a guarantee that you're going to have a castle, but it's kind of one of those mutually assured destructions that neither team's going to ban that, because even though we see it almost every single game, it's just one of those characters that's kind of too useful for both teams to kind of not want to ban it.
Yeah, I will say I've seen a few castle bans with that intention. Some teams will play bank top floor without castle and ban it against other teams to try to throw them off. But yeah, 80-90% of teams, they are going to leave that castle up, and you'll see it almost every round here on CEO, just to cut off some of the lines of sight from those window repels. But meanwhile, Kiwi's going to open up those elevator walls, cutting off the marble hallway there. And EKU now, after getting that opening pick, kind of going slow, clearing utility, sitting still, and it pays off as Loki finds Sharkhat and Janitor, I believe.
Looks like Moose just got shot from somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the window repels as well, but pretty questionable setup there from CUA, not reinforcing the Janitor walls, and that's going to make it hard to play in Janitor without those walls reinforced. As one player went down in Seamoose as well almost, but 5-star just swings banana, gets the pick. Hugo, though, from Square is going to find Seamoose. The bomb is going down. Raggy on the Thermite Gonna stick this diffuser. 5-star with another big pick onto one of the window players, but now it's a 2 versus 3, and post play on CEO can be pretty difficult. 2 versus 1, and Monk almost finds maybe it was 5-star almost finds Raggy as he tries to slip out, but it doesn't work out, and now Monk is gonna try to find Hugo here, but it won't work. Hugo secures it in EKU with the round. A little bit scary there in the post plant as they tried to get outside, but just couldn't make it, and EKU take the first attack.
Yeah, it was played very well, but at the same time, it was very stressful at almost every point of that round. I don't think there was quite a moment of silence between those bullets just flying. But, I mean, I think one of the biggest key takeaways as to what kind of led to the downfall of CUA is just, we got to talk about that walkout, man. Like, that's too confident of a thing to do, I feel like.
Yeah, very, very questionable from Soloist, who has been a very impactful player. And to be honest, if anybody on that team was going to try that, you probably have Soloist attempt it. But, yeah, just not the play, not working out. And
of all the places to just try to peek out from, that feels like you're running outside so long before you even see an enemy that they're just going to see a perfect little beacon over your head right to the point you're swinging, and then you're just going to have to... I won't say guess, because there's... You know your angles, you know your headshot height, but pretty much assume where a attacker is.
I suppose it's not crazy. Thinking about it, that window might not be terribly far from that ledge, but it's still not a super common run out. Usually find a lot more value on banked by spawn peeking, like a CEO window or something, if you're going to do anything like that. But regardless, EKU found that opening pick and ended up with the round, although it was close at the end. That might have been the difference maker. But I'm going to head over to a lockers round now, as CUA are pretty well poised for some late round time burning with both Goyo and Tachanka. No smoke, but we're seeing the Tachanka, I suppose, in substitution of the smoke. And Fenrir pretty common here, and so is Cade when he's not banned here on Bank. And Oryx, though, is sort of the X factor here. Simu's lurking around on the top floor, might look to get active. Raggy, meanwhile, very odd, has the diffuser in garage, just walking that way, but I'm not sure about this, what the plan is to just flood from garage when everyone is on site except for just the Oryx above. But it does look like everybody's either going lobby or garage, so maybe this is going to end up being a vault drop later on, but with the diffuser being garage, it's just very odd. It's hard to get to the site from garage. Garage is good for cutting off, but not necessarily for getting to plant.
Yeah, and it looks like we're just using some of these Chonka abilities early to kind of slow down this push from EKU already.
Yeah, probably going to see those Goyas pop soon as well. They just keep stalling there on the garage side, and not sure what the rest of EKU are wanting to do. I mean, with 2 players lobby, I want to expect maybe a elevator or lobby drop, and yeah, here goes Loki, but the Fenrir mine stops him. Kiwi does refract 5-star, but Sharkat refracts Kiwi, and now it's a 2 versus 4 for EKU. K-Bomb with... he just loses his mouse, I suppose. Totally whiffs on a guy that had his back to him, and now he's fired off in the elevator, and what could have been the equalizing pick does not go his way. And now, is K-Bomb aware? Did he hear the footsteps thundering above him? It looks like he doesn't have a headset either. K-Bomb goes down, and EKU drop their lockers attack here. And a little bit of a directionless round, I feel like. Just went garage early and didn't net much from that, and after that just flooded vault to go for a 1-for-2 trade.
Yeah, dare I say, it felt like a concept of a plan there, not quite a plan. Like, they had the bare bones of, we're going to send some garage, some lobby to have like a half drop down push, but two separate parts of the team didn't really work together to execute it very well.
Yeah, just unfortunate there for maybe just the scheming from EKU. They had the plan, but yeah, the execute just not set up to work very well, and they get picked apart. But now CUA gonna, instead of going open, will go back up to CEO for the defense, and looks like they will swap operators around just a little bit, with the Malusi coming out, and I think the Valk is new from the previous round as well.
I think so.
And we'll see how EKU decide to tackle this one as they bring a knock, which could be very interesting. Likely going to try to enter maybe the basement or lobby and get in super fast, but we shall see as the round gets underway. Seems like a pretty similar approach to the map for EKU's last round. Just posting up outside these windows on the exterior and looking to farm some picks, but Solis will not give them the freebie that he gave last time. So they'll actually have to work for all 5 this time around. Sort of posting up, and here comes Loki on the knock, activating the gadget after he enters the garage is kind of weird, but
I think they broke the camera quite earlier.
Yeah, kind of defeats the purpose of knock here. Sort of could have done this with anybody, but I suppose now is where the gadget comes in handy, as you bypass this marble camera. And this could be huge from Loki. They may not be aware of all this. There's no barb here, no beepers.
Fingers crossed that this works out better than Loki's last time being caught unaware.
Did he just shoot the camera?
I didn't quite pay attention. I don't know.
He did. And again, that defeats the purpose of knock. And now Bonk knows that somebody's here, but he has the wrong read. He thinks that they're lower marble, but in fact, Loki's tucked away in the elevator. And if Loki doesn't... Does Loki not hear this Valkyrie? Maybe not. This could be awkward. And Valkyrie hopping on a cam. Now they just hit the quick switch. It was Loki that was on a cam. And I don't know. But Warden's not dead. He's in ATMs. But Loki will hit the shot onto Monk. And finally, one of these two players finds the other. And now Seamoose is in a spot you don't see a defender very much, just isolated in the lobby there, but nobody to really take care of him based on the positions from everybody else. Looks like the rest of EKU are in top square looking for an execute. And Seamoose finds Loki below, so what ended up working out, and Sharkhat finds Raggy. It's a 3v4 all of a sudden for EKU. Looked like they had all they needed.
Looks like 5 stars going down, and do we know? Maybe we know.
Kiwi finds Sharkhat after playing another, and Seamoose with the big C4 is not going to leave EKU with any more time to do anything else, and CUA win their CEO defense on the second attempt, and now it's a 2-1 lead for CUA on EKU's map. Bank.
I mean, it felt like once again there were some right ideas there, and the execution is kind of where it fell through.
I suppose it was the right ideas.
Because I mean, we got the positionings relatively unknown.
Then the using the knock to take the space, but then shooting the cams and revealing their position is when, if Loki would have just kept pressing forward and walked straight up the stairs, he probably would have caught 1 or 2 people off guard in the site and opened the round up completely for EKU. But instead there was a very questionable dance between Loki and the Valkyrie and the Warden on the first floor, and the rest of EKU just didn't get the job done on the execute up top. And
Yeah, I agree that as much of a fumble you could say from Loki there on that fight with the Warden, it also comes down to being able to be in positions to work off of your teammates much more. That if your teammate is losing a 1v1, have someone there to help out can always be beneficial. Almost a buddy system kind of way to play games like this.
yeah, just the nature of the knock there is to make the solo play, but then Loki hesitated, and like you said, then it just turned into a guy that's isolated without a friend to help. So just didn't work out. But EKU now attacking open for the first time. See how they can approach this, as looks like CUA are playing 4 players on the first floor and just the Valkyrie lurking up top. This should be free territory for EKU to take the top floor. But we're a minute into the round and they've not entered the building yet, except for K-Bomb slipping into the basement.
Yeah, it seems like if we play this round right so far, we're going to have people on the top floor and the bottom floor kind of working in to apply that pressure throughout the middle towards CUA.
Yeah, and here comes the top floor pressure. Kiwi busting into CEO with the Blackbeard, and I believe they know that this Valkyrie is
Somewhere.
in meeting. And Kiwi's behind him, and that's going to be a free pick. That's the only player from CUA that was up top, and yeah, now EKU have all the control in the world to just work above the site and get ready for an execute. If you lose all of top floor, you just have to play positions on the first floor and hold crosses. So could still work out for CUA because of EKU's slow pace, but EKU have the control they need to start pressuring the site.
Yeah, and it looks like we're starting to get that vertical down on them as we have one of our players moving into position.
Kiwi with a nice shot on the soloist. Kind of questionable to challenge that, but Kiwi was confident. He won the gunfight, and now K-Bomb just walks into the site, fries 5-star, and it's a 5v2 for EKU, but not thinking about the small player who finds him, and now it's just C-Moose in a 1v4. Finds Kiwi. The bomb's going to go down, and there's the collapse. Loki hitting him from the top rope.
Yeah, and EKU played that round a whole lot better than the past 2, but it also felt like CUA played that a bit off. With that Valk having 2 people walk in, still staying prone, looking at the complete other side of the room, you'd think they'd have to have heard those steps to be able to play off of it, but we've seen a couple of players kind of out of position, getting caught off guard there from CUA this round.
Yeah, open area. At the end of the day, you got to have some more pressure on the top floor. You got to slow down the attack a little more on getting into the top floor. And yeah, when the Valk's just there by themselves, they just get picked apart pretty quick. And I will say the one thing CU had going for them was EKU's slower pace, but it was sort of the equivalent of a faster pace clearing an entire top floor. But with just one player up there, EKU didn't have to work for much. They got everything they needed, and then they had a good execute to finish it off as K-Bomb walked in to kitchen at the right time after coming from the basement. And yeah, good attack from EKU on their first open attempt, and now it's going to be back to lockers as CUA won this lockers defense on their first and only attempt, with EKU looking pretty lost on that round, and we'll see if they fix it this round with a drone and server from the Montaigne. Perhaps they will be going for a fast, isolated square and server push.
Yeah, especially when they're not going up against that Goyo and Chonka. There we go, Chonka play.
Yeah, that's a good point. Extremely questionable from CUA to drop all of that burnability. Talking about time and
As well as it looks like we might be able to, if we play this fast, and hello, looks like we're getting ready to have a gunfight happen. If we play this fast, looks like A site is mostly clearable. If we can just get that Monty to shield the defuse, we can drop that pretty quickly in the round.
yeah, this should honestly be a free round for EKU. No, nothing to burn with. They have server as long as they maintain square control above. There's not much that CUA can do to fight back against this. I mean, we're a minute into the round and ready for execute. Seamus does find K-Bomb above. That just leaves Kiwi now to control square. He's actually not in square. But, again, I'm not sure what EKU are waiting on. They can be going for this plant.
Yeah, especially moving in, having that counter be covered while you plant with your back towards them on Monty. Just be able to almost shell yourself in completely. But they do know someone is up on that hatch.
Raggy hit a good shot up through the hatch onto Soloist. That was huge. But Kiwi getting punished from top square, and again, that was the positioning that was needed that wasn't there from EKU. No square facilitator. And now Seamoose is up above. Could punish this execute if he gets over there, but currently he's not there. EKU could go for this again. The entire last 60 seconds of the round, EKU could have been planting. And here it's going to come out. Montaigne's probably going to backwards plant so he can't get shot. No, he's not going to backwards plant, but he'll get the bomb down. But he finally gets picked since he didn't have his shield backwards. Just gets the bomb off in the nick of time, though, despite that. And now it's just farming for EKU. But Hugo doesn't realize his head was exposed. Not sure how that worked. Hugo didn't see him, but 1v1 against Raggy and Monk on the Cade. The time is on Raggy's side for EKU. Hits the diffuser once, and it's a freebie for Raggy. EKU take the lockers attack, and I believe now we'll go up 3-2 on the half.
Yep.
So a 1-2 start, but they're bringing it back, and they will have to once again attack CEO for a shot at a 4-2 attack split. Much better round previously, just going for that isolated server push, but seemed like they forgot you have to control square, and that was a little bit of a hiccup that almost cost them the round, but thankfully, Raggy hit a good shot through the hatch, and I'm not sure why Seamoose was so late to punish the plant going down, but either way, EKU brought it back and won the round. And now we'll see how further adaptations go as they head into attack CEO.
Yeah, it did feel a bit like EKU played it quite slow there at the start, but was still able to finish out the round very strong. Well, strong. I guess you can't really say a 1v1 ending is a very strong finish for a round.
Yeah, it did seem like EK were in control of the round, though, for most of the round, despite the square hiccup. But yeah, despite that, they kind of had control the whole time. And post plant, you just hope Raggy wins that, it being post plant. But at the end of the day, it could have been a gunfight. The Cade there, though, opting for the defuse when he had to get the pick was a little questionable. But either way, EKU get it done, and it looks like that they're gonna send Blackbeard and Deimos up through the basement. Perhaps they identified that the Pulse is playing below, and they're gonna hunt this Pulse fast in Archive. That's what happens.
Yeah,
Pulse gets targeted. They know that he's in Tellers, and here comes the Blackbeard to hunt him down.
Yeah, it looks like he is.
Pulse going to keep running, though. He's in the lobby now. Is he going to slip away? He's going to wrap back around and go Marble. Wallbang almost coming out from K-Bomb.
Yeah, quite a bit of damage on him.
And now Pulse is going to slip into the basement, and EKU not really managing this hunt correctly is... Now they have to spend another round of Deimos trackers to get him in the basement, but I suppose that's what you ought to do. Is K-Bomb, though, not hitting his shots, but Simu's just backing into Kiwi on the Blackbeard. Took a little long, but EKU take care of that pulse below, and now the 5 versus 4 on the actual bomb side is that probably should have been a pick there onto Sharkat, but Raggy just not finding it. And now Solus is challenging the repels from lobby with no lobby facilitator. It's kind of free reign, and now he's going to be in tellers.
Yeah, as we're now starting to get onto this floor, putting some aggression here. As long as EKU keeps up this aggression, I think we're going to be able to quickly confirm this round.
Yeah, and K-Bomb might know that Mai's down there, but without the ping, actually he might not. Solus could kill K-Bomb for free, or if he peeked these holes, but I'm not sure that he knows. In fact, K-Bomb is on a drone in front of this hole, but Solus just doesn't seem aware that he could just shoot. K-Bomb, there he goes, he swings it and finds him. K-Bomb just not aware that Solus never went back upstairs, but meanwhile the collapse is coming out, the trades go out, and it's enough for EKU to win the round. That man advantage early ended up helping them to just trade away on the side there, and Yugo finding Solus, who was left solo there on the first floor.
Yeah, and solidifying that much of a lead on the first half, 2-4, is a pretty strong way to start into your defense half, especially if we seem to be decently confident on our defenses this round and avoid windows. I think we should be really, really good.
Yeah, hopefully K-Bob's got the memo by now to watch out for the windows, and maybe just stay in the basement and you'll be safe. But either way, gonna head off to the lockers defense in this defender lineup. Pretty standard. I'm curious about the Wamai. Pick here on the bottom. Not sure how that'll be used. Maybe to stack some util into server to waste some time, but just a little unconventional on a basement lockers defense for Bank. But besides that, this is some standard stuff. See Legion probably gonna be killing some time in open, and Tachanka Goyo with the fire. Gonna look to stall for the later round, and Warden with the shotgun. Likely gonna see Loki playing blue stairs. As interestingly, we see Glaz pick coming out from CUA. Maybe in an OSA, this is probably gonna be a execute centered attack approach here. You're going to see how they do it. They're in fast, though. Solus finds Yugo still running around on the first floor. And the initiative from CUA to just get in pays off. Kiwi now might be forced to retreat. Ooh, finds a great wall bang, though. And K-Bomb with another onto Sharkat. Coming up and pressing open. And now with a flurry of early round kills that you don't see too much on a Lockers defense is in favor of EKU, as they're now up 4-3. They'll now head down and bunker up, play this man advantage on the site.
Yeah, and it looks like that was a round that started shaky, but quickly, within a couple moments, EKU was able to get the advantage back to themselves and hopefully be able to hold this last bit of this round pretty strong to solidify a first round win for the defensive half.
Yeah, curious to see how CUA decide to approach the attack in a 3v4 disadvantage. Does look like Solus knows that he can get in server here. And with a player on the hatch, if you send 2 server, it could be enough to try to work something if you can pick somebody on the side here. Somebody must have forgot their setup. No holes in some of the red walls, but they'll be made late here and should be enough. Raggy, although it's conventional to Tachanka or to smoke from lockers, he's going to opt to do that from garage and actually almost getting shot by the glass through the wall there as he has to expose to get these Tachankas off. Could be scary if he overexposes even a little bit. And it looks like Doka is going to have the cam, so that bulletproof camera is just feeding info for CUA. They know where a lot of this defense is, but Monk overexposes just a little bit, punished by Kiwi. And now it's a 4 versus 2. Loki finds 5-star as the bomb tries to go down. And now it's just Soloist in a 1 versus 4 with the glass. He's backwards planning, but there's a warden up. Hello? Loki? You're warden. But he doesn't swing it and the bomb goes down. And Soloist going to rotate up to the hatch. Play this from the hatch, but now EKU are splitting up to take care of him. Although nobody peeks him as the diffuser is touched, and now it's just a 2 versus 1. Suddenly Solus might win this, but Loki and Kiwi pinch him. Loki hits the shot, and that was scary, but they will pinch him out and get the diffuse off in time. EKU winning the round despite losing the opening pick. The flurry double kill that came in afterward was huge to equalize and to advance the round for EKU and get them in. And a CUA timeout comes out as they are down 2-5 on EKU's map pick.
Yeah, and I mean, that round felt very shaky throughout, but in the end, we were able to lock it in, putting us at a 2-5 here. And that puts us, I mean, really solid. Just keep doing one round at a time, and we'll be able to lock in map 2, just taking us to map 3 and possibly to the end of the match.
Yeah, reminder that this is a best of 5, so 2 maps won't cut it for EKU. They'll have to win a third out of the last 3 to get the job done, since this is the semifinal, a battle for the championship game for Division C of ECAC. And now EKU gonna rotate to open as their second choice of a bomb site. And there's the Ella again from Loki, interestingly, which could come in handy as we see Montaigne and Blackbeard brought out from CUA. They've likely noticed that these shields seem to make EKU uncomfortable, but it did seem like EKU figured it out on Cafe how they wanted to deal with the shields, and we'll see how ready they are early on Bank here. Sorry, we are having to troubleshoot some audio issues, but hopefully we'll have that fixed by the next map. But either way, we're going to jump into our 8th round here as EKU look to win an open defense, but Raggy going down early Loki refrags though, I'm not sure where that at or where that went down. Maybe they're outside square in stock. But either way, 1-for-1 trade there, and Nomad for the mute. Pretty even trade, I suppose. And now Loki gonna peel back, and it's a 4v4 kind of bunker down here for EKU to try to hold on. Actually, K-Bomb is still up here in the second floor elevator. Maybe no drones have been his way, and CUA might not know of his presence, might hang out a little longer, try to get a free pick.
Yeah, if he's able to get his timing here, can quite. Does he know, or was that a coincidence? I really couldn't tell sometimes. But if he's just able to get a timing here like that, that just puts EKU even more solidified in their positioning here. That, I mean, miracles can happen, but 3v4 is not the position you want to be in.
Yeah, good play from K-Bomb there. And now if you're K-Bomb, you just probably slip out, but looks like he wants some more. He's going to just keep ratting around up here. A Soloist is actually in the basement. It's just 5-star and Sharkcat still up top. And K-Bomb might end up getting away with some more unless CUA decide to just let it rip and go for the execute soon here. But EKU very poised on site, ready for this execute. And here it comes as the dope call goes out, but Kiwi finds Soloist as he swings out. And K-Bomb is hunting this other attacker up top. He finds him. Sharkcat will get 1 on the first floor, but 2 actually, but Hugo finishes it out. And a good round from EKU to just hold on.
Yeah, one of those instances that I was talking about. Sometimes you just win your gunfights. You just need to pick the gunfights, kind of get in there, take some fights, win some fights.
Yeah, EKU definitely dominating those engagements that time around. And yeah, just take the gunfights, just force the gunfights sometimes and be confident. And looks like EKU did that, and now they will head up to CEO. Up 6-2, 1 round away from sending us to our map 3 with a 2-0 advantage.
Yeah, just taking it both one map at a time and 1 round at a time. Being able to kind of move here into this more like solidified positioning. So long as you can 2 and 7 this round, they might be able to take round 2, go into map 3.
Yeah, interesting seeing the Bandit here brought out over the Cade. Not sure why, but typically Cade's just better here. But rest of this lineup seems pretty standard. When the Azami's gone, it's pretty common to see a Frost or a Legion be the stock player. So you got the Frost, the Castle's a must bring.
And one thing I did notice here is we saw a Ying that switched off kind of last second there, that it's one of those things that's could possibly be huge for EKU, just picking that Warden, completely changing the plans of how CUA was wanting to take this round.
Yep. Maybe they spotted that Warden and opted not to try to flush him out with those Candelas, but does look like they want to set up for square and stock push here. As Loki's actually got a shield in stock. Usually you see a shield outside stock facing top square, but Loki's just pressed up in stock. He wants it.
Yeah.
And he gets it. Monk goes down. That's the ace early. Out of the picture for CUA, and now it's looking dire. No ace.
And that is their only hard breach.
Yep, you're in trouble now, and Loki's just going to keep playing this stock position.
It looks like Raggy could be getting a timing here on one of those players. Solus finds Loki.
We'll clear out that stock player, and actually Raggy could have got aggressive there, swung the square door, but instead it's Loki who's going to end up trading out. And now CUA have stock control, but that doesn't net you much. You got to get something else to start pressing in. As actually he gets C forward. Is he C forward?
I believe so.
Maybe that was K-Bomb checking the C4. I guess it would have had to have been. Solos finds K-Bomb though. It was a very. I think Solos got jump scared there maybe, and the roam not working out for K-Bomb as that's a 3 versus 4 despite starting off promising. The man advantage is on CUA side, although 3 low HP players, they're gonna have to hit their shots if they want to. Oh my, that drone. That drone entered the matrix there as every bullet just seemed to miss. And Hugo, though, makes up for it, taking down Shark Hat. Now he's focused on this stock player. Ooh, the Blackbeard coming in, though, winning that engagement. It's a 1 versus 3 now for Kiwi as Janitor gets cleared out. But all players are 1 HP. This 5-star slips across Janitor's side, but now all these players are going to line up. For Kiwi, Kiwi's actually in really good shape to make this one work. But 1 HP only makes a difference if you hit 1 shot. As he's getting pressed by the Blackbeard, he downs Soloist, but he drops the hatch, so he won't be able to get the planter. He's going to have to rotate up square, but
Yeah, this makes it very difficult for time, putting us into quite a disadvantage here.
with both players getting outside, it's very unlikely that Kiwi's going to win this round. There's not enough time to jump out. He's going to have to bait these attackers to swing. Blackbeard's already on the window. Actually, where that diffuser's at, he may be able to long arm this, but his head might just be exposed there. Blackbeard's actually going to rappel in. Does get him in the foot, but 5-star with the overwatch from the window finishes off Kiwi. And a bit of a blunder there from EKU. They really set themselves up to win that round early, but just let it slip away 1 position at a time. Did not really play off each other, did not play crossfires, just gave themselves up 1 at a time and end up losing the round. And now it's 6-3. And EKU now they'll get to go back to their first bomb site to try to stop this from turning into a landslide for CUA.
Yeah, it is unfortunate to give up the round, but as you said, it is still 3-6. This is still very much so EKU's game to win.
Yep, similar lineup here, going to lockers, which I think is the same lineup that they had on the first round. And we'll see if CUA adapt to do something a little different this time. What they did last time, the Glaz almost ended up working out, but more so because of the plays that Soloist made. Just some pretty standard setup for EKU there. The Goyos for the Goyo fire, and I wonder what Loki's doing is there. I guess he's opening a hatch. Just been running around with the shotgun for a minute, but okay, he's just gonna pop a couple hatches, but.
Yeah. No.
Might end up seeing a lobby take or a dirt ISO. I'm not sure just yet what they want to do. It does look like they might be dropping into the sewer, so probably going to see an isolated square and server take here. See Solus on the Nomad going to facilitate square, and the rest of the team just going to power their way into server. But here's where the blue stairs position comes in handy. Loki can set up a crossfire with Hugo there behind the server rack. So all 4 players are stacked dirt here as well. The rest of the team can start rotating, get some major crossfires going. Yeah, Loki close with the shotgun. Raggy could start burning these guys out, but Yep. Sharkcat just gives it up for free as he puts his side to
Yeah,
Hugo.
that's diffuser too, especially if we can get, like you said, get Raggy moved in here, start putting some fire there. That is a horrible spot to be in for CUA.
Yeah, they will swipe the diffuser though and get out. And I don't know, if I was EKU there, I'm firing, especially like you said, once that diffuser goes down, you can fire that diffuser off and stall a ton of time. But instead, they let them slip in and grab that diffuser and rotate out and reassess their push.
But it looks like we are moving our kind of crossfires up to that first floor, being able to still catch them wherever they may go now that it's down a person.
Yeah, they will opt to just go square, so the defensive positions are well set. They're going to peel back, though, kind of give it up at this point because they can stall the rest of this time with the Goyo Fire and the Tachanka.
Yeah, as of now, it's just playing it safe, securing that final round. But Sololess moving in here could be dangerous.
Yeah, just not going to have any time. The fire from Tachanka just spamming those fires now. Might as well. There's no time left, so you might as well let her fly. But Loki doesn't seem aware that you can get shot from above on the hatch there. But yeah, and there's K-Bomb taking out Solus in just no time.
Yeah, just burning that entire room the whole time, making sure that there's no way for CUA to move in here. And that is securing EKU for map 2 as they are calling another 5-minute break. So we're going to go ahead and take this break to try to figure out what is wrong with our audio.
Yeah,
So,
pretty good map there from EKU, more decisive than their first. And yeah, I think we're going to try to troubleshoot some audio issues on our break. So we will see you all shortly as
yes.
we...
And I will say there is a small chance in resetting this stuff. We may have to reset the stream. So if you see the stream dropped, don't go anywhere. Just wait right here and we will be back.
All right, so we are back here checking out the bans for map 3, which is Chalet, which I believe is CUA's second map pick. So might see another close one like the first map, although the second map was still decently close in terms of each round seemed pretty close. But
Yeah.
so yeah, we're gonna get into Chalet. A Maverick ban on Chalet is a little odd, but besides that Maverick ban, pretty standard Chalet bans coming out. Blitz, really strong on Chalet, lots of blitz play you can do, and Valk and Azami, probably the two most banned defenders on Chalet. So yeah, aside from that odd Maverick ban, pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
CUA gonna get start defense this time around and gonna head to Master for their first defense.
Yeah. So from EKU, we're probably wanting to see some more. Which that last round we got a lot better with our confidence in our plays, and we're hopefully going to start seeing more of that as we continue on into this match 3.
Yep, and pretty standard defense. You see a lot of this Castle Mira stuff for Master, and probably Wamai to protect the Miras. Pretty smart. And also pretty common to see a Warden posted up, maybe on the half wall up top, but currently the Warden's actually downstairs, so might end up having him lurk down there. But now we're going to see how EKU choose to approach this attack, whether it'll be Solar or Library. They're going to elect for Library here, and it doesn't look like there's much presence over there anyway from the defense, although just now Moose is going to come up. Gonna be up there up top blue.
Yeah, it looks like once we're kind of setting ourselves up to where we're able to, as long as we move quick before a lot of CUA rotates over, we're going to be able to get some boots on the ground in this second floor.
Yeah, EKU have all this, and
What?
Soul is finding Loki. I thought that the shield was up. I didn't think he was ADSing, but maybe he just had the perfect angle to the side to get picked there, and just poor shield play from Loki, I suppose, getting picked there. 4v5 already for EKU. They do have the library side control, and they're posted up on K9 balcony. Just need to get some drones for Loki to watch on the walk-ups. And the rest of EKU could still press forward here. Gonna try to Ash charge below the wall. They're gonna challenge it though, and then try to trick, but he's actually gonna find the down.
Oh,
This should be a pick. He saw his head. Raggy just not finding it though, and Bandit's gonna get rezzed. That was tragic. Kiwi not securing it from below, and Raggy not securing it from the breach, and now it's a 3 versus 5. Hugo though will go ahead and clean up the Bandit. Looks like that was from the Master Repel, and Sharkat just not aware, gets shot from Kiwi there at Ivy. And Hugo finds another. Solus goes down. Suddenly it's a 3 versus 2. Great stuff from EKU to punish these players on CUA from being in bad spots. And
yeah, despite a weaker start to the round, it feels like EKU is quickly cleaning it up, kind of locking back in, being able to work and play better. But Moose is starting to slowly move up. Maybe going to be able to find a pick, but looks like Raggy was able to dodge.
yeah, now probably going to see a double swing come out from CUA onto Raggy, but he punishes the castle. And Hugo, huge round from Hugo, takes down Moose here on this Master Repel. I think he found 3 players.
I believe so.
It's huge from Hugo to just punish CUA, maybe just not aware of that master window presence and how it can punish you.
Yeah, I mean, just a strong start there from EKU. Being able to secure that first round win on CUA's map pick is a strong start. Get some good mental in the start of the game and hopefully be able to carry that momentum on.
Yeah, and they will get a chance to do it again. Looks like CUA will run back this master defense, and it looks pretty similar. In fact, I think it's identical, just having Moose on the Wamai rather than Solus, so Solus can go play Solus below. Solo.
Yes, I remember that pick from last time we played them. Solo is.
Yep. That will be something that EKU have to deal with. But last round they did send, I believe it was Kiwi below to deal with Warden. This time it's going to be Solus, but may try to do a run out from garage. May go down to the basement, run out on the trench door to punish that Master Repel, since that was what picked them apart the previous round. But we will see. Is actually EKU spawn Campfire side might opt to do a solar take this time. K-Bomb's in pretty fast here below. They might be aware that Solus is playing on this first floor, and they're just going to send 2 people to get him.
Yeah.
Actually, reinforcing dining. He could get caught off here. BKU were aware, but I don't know that they were. And the Blackbeard's going to find the Solus here. In dining as K-Bomb's going to come up, but Solus is going to slip away into bar.
Yeah, it feels like EKU is playing this a lot more confident, getting in there, starting to take some ground pretty early into the round. Hopefully that continues on into the second floor to start moving into that bomb site.
Yeah, Blackbeard just going to charge up the solar stairs, and Castle's going to drop over, and I don't think Kiwi heard it. Incredible. He did not hear that, and Monk with a huge pick. Although now he's kind of isolated on the stairs here. Look, he's got his rotate up, and K-Bomb has his rotate down, but maybe K-Bomb had his Grim launcher out for some reason. Yeah, he really wants to Grim him for whatever reason, and he gets punished. Solus just walks right back. K-Bomb forgets and just gets caught with his pants down.
Yeah, putting us into now a 4v3, but I mean, EKU, so far this series has showed us that they're able to just take that pressure and run with it. That despite the shaky start of the round, but that doesn't mean it's over for EKU right now.
Yeah, you go with yet another pick on the Master Repel. It's a good start. Look, he's still holding these stairs, but at this point you have 2 dead teammates. Just set a drone and move on. Gonna Ash open the solar wall to try to get some further pressure onto the site, but nobody's there from CUA.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like it's when EKU needs to start executing in to not have that massive time crunch as there they go.
Yeah, EKU have a plant. That's a odd spot, but with that castle barricade up, it might work out. Bomb's going to go down. Nobody's there to stop it. Solus of Sololus.
Oh.
Okay, and that Claymore might go up at the perfect time. Not quite. But
they
Loki
just Uno reverse, do the exact play that got hit on one of our teammates.
Reverse. And it's another 3 from Hugo on the Repel as well. Huge from EKU to bring it back 3 versus 5. Monk finds Loki, but there's almost no time left.
Yeah, there has to be a play made very quickly, and it's not one that Monk can easily win there, putting us into first 2 rounds in EKU's pocket. And as I said, it's just a team that feels like no matter how shaky they start, they can lock it in and clean up.
Yeah, a huge couple rounds to just bring it back, especially Hugo on that Repel, just punishing the players for being in off spots. And yeah, despite being in the main disadvantage, they bring it back because of Hugo. And it was funny to see Loki hit that reverse, jump over and catch Solus off guard. And the 2-0 start for EKU on CUA's map pick and what could be the final map of this matchup.
Yeah, as we see pretty similar teams here, but we do have Soloist switching back over to that Vigil, which is a scary sign for him because that has led to either almost a team wipe or getting picked instantly. So fingers crossed for EKU. This is a time where they're able to find Soloist quickly because it feels as though Soloist is essentially the raid boss that you either take out quick or can cause you a lot of trouble.
Indeed, definitely gonna have to keep an eye on him for this round. As looking at this lineup though from EKU, I'm not sure what their intention is. Maybe not to go top down. There's no ram. It could end up going for a boiler or ISO, maybe. But yeah, with these early drones, I believe this is going to be a backside take on the basement. And curiously, Warden is not extending out into boiler. Usually you see a Warden extending to boiler, but I saw them completely reinforce boiler off. Gonna just tuck into the site. Warden's gonna play blue, actually. And
there it is. Soloist dropping instantly in the round, putting us at a 4v5 for EKU's favor.
Yeah, but there is another. Monk has lurched his way upstairs. Actually gonna go all the way to the top floor, and EKU aren't aware of this. Could be a huge issue for them later on. Smug is just gonna sit still here on the upper blue stairs.
Yeah, as EKU is starting to just slowly take more and more, they do need to be very careful for Monk there. I mean, with that gun, if you walk past Monk, you're losing 1 to 2 guaranteed.
Yep, and he's still just hanging out bar side. Probably could have gone ahead and walked and had a big double kill if he would have gone on to dining, but it doesn't come out. And he's still just going to stay put up here. But now the shot's coming out, but that shotgun doesn't have as much range as it used to. Meanwhile, Raggy on the long angle finds Shark Hat. And now EKU have really all that they need to go for this plant.
Yeah, and now we do have info of exactly where one of them was, as the other just walks right in front. As Hugo Rave knows to just hold that angle. There's Raggy.
Yeah, EKU just...
Yeah, they down one more, know exactly where the last one is, and it's flawless.
Flawless attack onto the line side of the basement, and kind of funny they went for that hatch because actually it's been more beneficial to have that hatch closed when you go for that execute, but opening it up kind of gives the defenders an opportunity to retake it. But nevertheless, it worked out, and EKU, the huge opening to this game as they take all 3 rounds in the first quarter, and Raggy and Hugo combined 10-0.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the backbone, the support of this team is really doing most of the work here on Chalet. Props to them. And CUA forced to call a timeout as they only have 5 kills through 3 rounds.
Yeah, and I say it every time, but timeouts are always... This is a situation where a timeout is quite important. As you said, 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, but still, timeouts can be scary in games like this because as much time as you're gaining to sit and talk, you're giving the enemy team just as much time to sit and talk. So it could come out, and we might see this next round be an even more polished EKU push against an even more polished CUA push. So who knows how this could go.
Yeah, CUA calling that timeout and then going to go to master for the 3rd time in 4 rounds. On a map that has 4 defendable sites, it's quite curious that through 4 rounds we've only seen 2. But either way,
yeah,
CUA looking to maybe make some adaptations. There's the Maestro this time.
Seems as though CUA may have a favorite site if I were to guess.
Yeah, hopefully they can get around on their favorite site. Looks like EKU did a good job of droning early to identify that they have the Maestro, as Kiwi's going to swap over to the Brava. And there's the Ash brought from K-Bomb to deal with the Miras, hopefully, and the rest looks like it's for the walls and the walk-ups.
Yeah, now we just figure out how we want to play this, and looks like we're already getting some action up onto that top floor.
Yep, this time I'm going to opt for Library over instead of Solar. And just like the first round, and Solus gets first picked again. Getting aggressive on that case window gets shut down by K-Bomb.
I couldn't even tell that. I'm going to give benefit of the doubt that was intentional, but it looked like some of that was based just off shooting the window to break it, as 5-star does find Raggy as well.
Yeah, the ace going down early is huge. That's going to really put a stop in the plan here to open up the master wall once you have the library control. So, yeah, important opening pick coming out, but losing the ace, this is a situation where the 1-for-1 trade is heavily in the defensive favor. There's now no way to open that wall. EKU going to have to make some big adaptations.
Looks like Brava's moving through here.
Yeah, EKU kind of stalling now, though. I'm not making a definitive call on how to adjust after losing the ace there. Might just have to force their way into piano.
Yeah, one of those times where you just gotta make a choice and make it quickly, as a minute just ticks away from you again. 57 seconds left to get on the site.
Sharkat finds Kiwi there in the Ivy Hall. 3 versus 4, but again, I think both of these attacks, EKU in the man disadvantage, tightened it up and ended up winning the round, but they're gonna need more than this to win this round. Hugo comes off that repel that had been so strong for him. Come get the bomb, and he's on K9 balcony. It's like gonna breach the K9 door. Maybe on a 3-2-1 here, and well, Loki pulling out a breaching charge, but he's in front of piano, and where the entire defense is gets punished. K-Bomb will find the refrag though. You go with a pistol through the wall, huge play, and almost a save there from K-Bomb, but it just cannot win the 1v1 against the Maestro.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was just our end or if it, like translated to stream, but for us, we had a bit of a pause there and it switches to a pistol kill. So I don't know what happened in that 2 seconds we missed, but it seemed like it was a lot.
Yeah, Hugo just walking at that office player, but gets swung by the Maestro, and K-Bomb was just a little shallow on his push onto the Maestro to finish him off when he swings, and ends up losing in a huge clutch from C-Moose to get CUA's first round, as they will head again down to the basement through 5 rounds, just the 2 bomb sites.
Yeah, no, we did see, it seems like that timeout call probably helped, as they got their first round on EKU. So we'll have to see how that changes again for this basement hold, and if they're able to continue that momentum and take another round. As I've been saying for EKU, CUA might be thinking once again, 1 round at a time, like Johnny Cash. Take 1 piece at a time and that's how you win your game.
Yep, 1 round at a time in a game where there's no real momentum besides the psychological and the emotional. And CUA showing some poise there to
There was a spiritual.
some spiritual momentum.
Yeah, make sure their chakras are aligned for this game.
CUA, they didn't seem to be too tilted to get their first round 4 rounds in, but now EKU are again going to go for a boiler execute. But this time there's the Tachanka on Solus to challenge this boiler push fast, and Ace Charge is going to get bandit tricked. If I'm pretty sure that if EKU just had somebody posted up on the door, they would have killed the bandit tricker, but
Yeah, but we are getting some boots on the ground here already, moving in onto that second floor, get some verticality here. But it looks like, if I wasn't mistaken, CUA might have some on floor 2.
yep.
Yeah,
Is again roaming with the Cade, which is quite unusual, but and this Tachanka just keeps slipping in and out. I'm not sure how this happens. If you have somebody on the trench door, you could pick this guy, or on the west main stairs, but however it is, Bandit is still here, and Monk has found K-Bomb from above. And EKU a little sloppy on dealing with this boiler ISO push.
Yeah, as we're just letting this Chonka slow us down so much with that fire, it's making it harder and harder to get that push in, as all too familiar situation of less than 1 minute on the clock here in just 1 second, and taking us down to not enough time to have a easy fight here.
Yeah, I mean, you keep just kind of sitting still, but not at the right places. Is finally they make some moves and equalize. You go and Loki find one apiece, and it's really not difficult with that headshot to get the control that you need here. And now that they've got it, they're going to cross and go for the plant. But the Maestro bubble is hurting Loki. It wasn't hacked by K-Bomb before he went down, and that's going to be what seals the deal for EKU on this round as Loki goes down. Raggy finds both, though. What a clutch. I was riding them off, but Raggy shut me right up as he finds both defenders, hits a couple crazy shots, and EKU saved the round thanks to Raggy. What a play.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the win con there, I guess, was Raggy popping off to end that round.
Yeah, no time left. All that CUA had to do was just tuck, but they both swing him, and he hits the shots.
Yeah.
I mean, again, huge from Raggy and Hugo as well to bring the round back despite everything else going wrong.
So yeah, that puts us into round 6, and even if EKU drops this next round, 4-2 is a great spot. 5-1 is even better.
Yeah, EKU looking great to win this, and again, CUA down to the garage. For Chalet, only seeing 2 bomb sites and 6 defenses is incredible. But I would say if it's working, it works, but it's not quite working, as CUA have only managed to find 1 in their first 5. Although, to be fair, they've had an advantage in a lot of these rounds. They end up letting it slip to EKU.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like a unique example of if it's broke, don't fix it.
Sure.
As we're just seeing the same thing over and over and taking 1 round out of it. It's just an interesting way to play it.
Good call from EKU here to go instead for a garage rush here. They hit boiler every time, and CUA likely not going to be expecting the garage rush. This could be beautiful from EKU if they don't telegraph this, but Bandit's over here this time, though, and EKU might be making too much noise, throwing too much utility. Although the nade is going to keep the Bandit off the wall. The other nade in there to finish him off, but he's not going to get it off. The timing is out of sequence on everything.
And it's just going to happen again.
And it's going to happen again. Raggy's going to put the other thermite charge there. That's both thermite charges gone. Just despite all 5 players here, they're not enough to stop 1 Bandit tricker.
And that is also, I believe, 3 from Thatcher.
I guess they've not heard the joke about how many EKU white players does it take to stop one bandit tricker.
Yeah, the answer is 6, I think.
Yeah, at least 6. So hitting the complete switch up, they jump in library, and I don't know that they have anything to work the vert though. Maybe if Thatcher has breaching charges, but you have to have vert above connector. Otherwise, you just gotta send everybody blue in main. K-Bomb will find one on blue stairs. That's a start to making up for this lack of control, but again, with no utility and no garage wall open, it's going to be hard to manage these rotations. As, yeah, even the bandit here is just tucked on the garage in position. No vert able to be made on the defense. And I don't know how EKU can win this, but the sense might help. With the angles that the attack can get on a planter, the sense is the only answer to stop. And he's just gonna ADS and exposed to the garage player. But Raggy gonna walk down and find one, but immediately refragged by the bandit. Meanwhile, other 2 EKU players hit the rotation, entering the opposite side, and all of a sudden CUA look caught off guard, but Solus with 1. And Loki not able to hit the shots as Sololess cleans up. And CUA win the round. Dare I say, off the back of a bandit trick.
Yeah. But now we're seeing the switch into the second half, and EKU's still in a pretty solid spot here with a good chance of being able to close in this third round to make it on to the finals.
Yeah, 4-2 half still favorable for EKU despite that last round. And yeah, they will go kitchen first. So the first defense from EKU is one that
we've just not seen before.
We've not got to see this map, as CUA played 2 sites and 6 defenses, but I really like this lineup from EKU for the kitchen defense. Mute probably going to anchor the site, and it's pretty common to see just 1 on site and 4 players up top. The Mira Castle, Wamai to protect the Miras, and Fenrir to cover the horizontal walk-ins from the office side. I mean, from the library side toward the office side. Pretty good operator composition from EKU here as they look to play the first round on a site that is not master or garage.
Yeah, I mean, they're already opening up this top floor to hold it strong and be able to have that verticality on the site for if they manage to get on site, just take them out.
Yeah, curious how CUA decide to go for this, and looks like they're wanting library quick, but Kiwi starting over on this library side. Got to be careful though. No real setup to protect Kiwi here, so want to see him, yeah, get out fast. Good plays from Kiwi just to make CUA worry about him and then immediately peel out.
Yeah. Looks like we're starting to get quite a bit of pressure on the EKU players on this top floor, so long as they hold strong and keep fighting well, though. They don't quite have to give it up just yet, but it needs to be in the considerations.
Yeah, opting to try to Hibana this Mira, but might be more effective to just Hibana the heaven wall here. Get that Mira out of position, but so far that's not happened, and defense just holding still. C4 comes out, that could be huge against the Osa, but it only finds half the HP. But Monk is going to find Loki, try to jump in, but he's refragged by K-Bomb. Huge pick. And in the Fenrir was the Blackbeard, and finally gets caught out by Kiwi. Another jump in the bathroom window, but it's also Fenrir. And 2 more players go down, and it's just Sharkcat on that Osa posted up Ivy.
Yeah, in which we've already got some damage on them, know where they are. Actually making eye contact with them through the shield and the mirror right now.
Yeah, we're gonna try to peel out. And Kiwi actually with a really good play there, but just barely missed the timing. And yeah, Sharkcat gonna go up to the roof. Might call a preemptive timeout here, just sitting on the roof, but reassess the approach here. Yeah, just gonna be a little timeout, a little time to talk with the team without having to actually call one, as CUA likely talking about what went wrong, what they want to change next time. And they only have 2 more rounds to play with. So it's going to be 2-5.
Yeah. This looks like with no time, Sharkhat's just going to try to make a play and K-Bomb cleans it up.
Yeah,
Good
very,
rounds coming out.
very strong round from EKU. A lot of that round was thanks to the Finmer mines, and Finmer is very strong there on the kitchen bomb side, and really, really good setup for EKU, and CUA did not have any idea how to try to deal with it. And so far, that kind of seems like a trend with CUA thus far, just not able to find how to deal with some of these EKU defenses so far. And now we're going to head over to Bar, the 4th site on the map, as EKU take on the 2 first floor bomb sites as their first 2.
Yeah, just showing CUA that, hey, there are other options we could have chose.
Yeah, Castle, a little unusual for the Bar site. Usually if you see that, you might see the castle extend over onto the office side, but actually just looks like gonna just castle some of these windows. And gonna castle the office side off, actually. So just doing all this setup to seal off office. And yeah, in fact, they're gonna quad reinforce every single office wall.
Yeah, so it looks like I think they have a strong idea of where they want to hold, maybe.
Yeah, definitely just gonna isolate to this half of the map. You go likely just gonna anchor with the mute in stock, and rest of the team gonna focus on holding library. Interesting to see the fuse come out here. You don't see fuse very often, but likely just to clear one of my discs and utility, and also have the ash for the mirror there. Very important. Monk just jumps in and out for free. I'm not sure what happened there. Doesn't get punished from the vert and then just slips back out. When actually this Ella might be a free pick if Loki's not aware, but he gets his gun up at just the right time, and the aggression from Monk does not work out.
Yeah, and it looks like it's just an unsure offense at the current moment.
Yeah, they definitely want library, but they're not sure how to go about getting it. It's Kiwi finds Sharkhat. Now it's just a waiting game. Solus, though, finds Yugo. As Solus is in the bar hall there, finds another before getting refragged by K-Bomb. That's everybody on site, though. And again, another trade comes out. Raggy picks Seamoose jumping in the case window. It's a 2v2, 2v1 now. Actually, K-Bomb might get res here, and it'll be a 3v1 as Monk is left alone to attempt to clutch a 1v3 with match point on the line.
Yeah, this is the round to win here for EKU. So as long as they keep their position and keep their plays smart, this is, big win condition, and Loki's able to clean up Monk here to put us into match point, forward game point.
Simu's commending the setup.
Yeah. With an exclamation point, too.
Yeah. Very CUA, very, very sportsman-like.
Yeah, I mean, you got to commend them. This is 2-6 in the final game of this series, and they are still good rounds and nice jobs, exclamation points every round. I mean, that is, as you said, some peak sportsmanship right there.
Yeah, then finally, EKU will run one of the bomb sites that we saw earlier in the game from CUA as they head down to garage, running the Tubcade combo, which is pretty hard to deal with to open up that garage wall. So you'd like to see that garage wall stay closed with this setup. And yeah, here's the warded setup. Boiler this time around. CUA opting not to extend to boiler, but if you're bringing a warden, it's probably best to do that. And K-Bomb with some ADSs to stop the nades coming in the garage, and pretty standard setup here from EKU for the garage defense. We'll see if they elect to roam or have any setup up above or not.
I mean, it feels like we should have just taken notes here from CUA's final defense of that one bandit and a dream.
Yeah, perhaps.
As there's already almost full health taken out of 5-star here. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but
yeah, Kiwi gets aggressive there on that library window, as I believe 5-star wanted to claymore it. And Thatcher's going to start off with 1 HP for the remainder of the round. And EKU with 3 bunkered down and 2 on the top floor, but no presence on the first floor. Although Kiwi now drops the kitchen hatch and looks like he will play there and maybe start sliding back, as there's no presence anywhere else. Until now, as Soloist finds Kiwi. Looks like that might have been on the lobby door. Not sure though, but finds Kiwi rotating around, and now K-Bomb is here on the first floor to try to deal with this, but the Tubcade is working out extremely well for EKU, keeping this wall going. Actually, they hit the top corner there. I'm not sure how that happened. They did open up a part. And now K-Bomb's giving his position away. He's got to get out now.
yeah, I don't know. Re-swinging it's brave.
4v5 now, but with only a little over a minute left on the clock, you're pretty set to just bunker down and play positions here. Raggy peeking the breach, almost punished for it, but that actually may have been a miss drone, but Hugo opting to try to shoot the drone, gave away his position, but now he's got a C4. You can C4 right over the shelf and get this pick, but he doesn't. It's a free pick onto the main stairs if you C4 over the shelf, but I suppose he missed it.
Yeah, I think the pressure of the nade got to him a bit there.
Yeah, and now Hugo's going to get picked by the Blackbeard, but here's the C4, and that should be the Blackbeard down, but no, maybe it was just short. And now all the win conditions from EKU are out of the window. It's just going to come down to gunfights. Raggy does find one. That's a start. Raggy with another. Huge play from Raggy. And a third for Raggy. He's going nuclear. He does not want to keep playing this game.
Yeah, Raggy heard you say it comes down to the gunfights and said, okay, boss.
He helps make it a 1 versus 2 for Loki. Now both of these attackers are in the garage. He finds one. But Simu's going to have to stick the defuse. This should be a free kill for Loki, and he finds it. And EKU are headed to the Division C Grand Final.
I mean, just beautiful ending to that game there.
Yeah, what a clutch between Loki to finish the 1v2, but Raggy with 3 kills.
I also appreciate this, Seamus. That was a good game to watch.
Yeah, very appreciated. We appreciate EKU for winning because we will likely get to watch them next week as they head to the grand final for
Yeah.
Division C.
That'll be exciting to see. We saw it last time as well, I believe. Did they end up winning it or second
They
place?
finished second place Division
place.
D last time, but I guess that was enough to promote them to Division C. And now they're proving that they can hang in Division C as well. And actually, I think if the other semifinal goes a certain way, they may rematch against the only team they've lost to so far this semester in their very first play day. Because they're unbeaten since the first play day, and I think one of their other semifinal opponents is that team. So could have a rematch.
That is scary, but I mean that's kind of what you want to see in a competitive scene like this. Have that run back, be like pretty much your rival of the season.
Yep.
Come back to get that revenge game.
Yep. So might get that big rematch next week in the grand final, but either way, we'll definitely see you all next week as we check out our EKU white team, most likely competing there in the grand final for Division C.
Yeah, can't wait.
So I've been Marshall.
I'm Dakota.
We'll see you all next week.